I'm sure we're all very grateful to you, Dr. Williams, for this highly informative talk on breast cancer. I know we've all learned a great deal, and that we are all reassured that each of us can do something to protect ourselves against this disease. Does anyone want to ask Dr. Williams a question? Oh, I know some of us may feel reluctant to ask questions about breast cancer, but after all, the only way the doctors have been able to help us is to open up this entire subject to honest and intelligent discussion.
Do you have a question?
Dr. Williams, you said that breast cancer is curable. Well, I've read that nearly 20,000 women die of the disease every year. That doesn't sound very curable.
Well, both of those facts are true. Breast cancer is curable, and approximately 20,000 women do die from it a year. But remember what I said applies to the average woman with breast cancer. The disease begins as a tiny microscopic area within the breast, and it grows slowly but steadily until within 10 months or a year, it may be an inch or more in diameter. During this period of delay in its recognition, the disease may have grown not only within the breast, may also have spread to areas outside of the breast. When this happens, the chance for cure is less. 20,000 women die from this disease every year because it is not discovered until too late.
I don't understand why those women wait so long.
Well, your chairwoman has given us one reason. Many of us are reluctant to discuss or even think about the subject. However, the fact that we're all meeting here today does show that we're making some progress. I think the more we understand about health problems, the more chance we have of living healthy lives. And there's another reason why women wait so long. For many months after it begins, breast cancer doesn't produce any symptoms. It causes no pain. It's what we call a silent disease. At this stage, the only sign of breast cancer is a small, firm lump. Now, we can operate on this tumor. We can remove it completely. An operation which can cure 8 or 9 out of 10 patients. But this is possible only if we discover the disease early.
Is every lump in the breast cancer?
No, definitely not. As a matter of fact, 2 out of 3 such lumps are due to conditions other than cancer. Remember, if you feel a lump, let a physician decide what it is.
But doctor, just how early can a lump in the breast be discovered?
Well, now, that's a very important question, and I don't want to oversimplify the answer. But in most cases, the lump of cancer can be discovered during the 1st or 2nd month of growth. But don't forget, your doctor usually doesn't see you that frequently. But he can teach you to examine your own breasts. So the next time you visit your doctor for a general physical checkup, which should include a thorough breast examination, be sure to ask him about breast self-examination. Be sure to get his advice on this routine personal health habit.
Dr. Johnson, may I ask you about something I heard at our women's club last week? The speaker, Dr. Williams, said we women ought to examine our own breasts. What do you think of the idea?
Many of us approve, Mrs. Wright. And while I am examining your breasts, this is just the time for me to teach you how to do it yourself, because the methods you ought to use are patterned after those that we physicians use. Now, first of all, Mrs. Wright, will you sit up straight facing me so that I can look carefully at your breasts? Put your arms down at your sides, and now, if you please, raise them high above your head. Now I can see that your breasts are symmetrical and that there is no abnormal puckering of the skin over them. You can see these things when you look at them in your mirror. This simple step, then, is the first one for you to take when you examine your own breasts. Now, we're ready for you to lie down, but before you do, let me explain that we examine the breasts while you lie down, not while you sit up. Because when you sit up, the lower part of the breast is folded upon itself, and the examination is difficult. Our object is to examine the breast in the position in which the breast tissue is flattened out as much as possible upon the surface of the chest wall. When you lie with your shoulders flat on the table, your breasts fall to your sides. To avoid this, we place a pillow under the shoulder on the side of the breast we are examining. Now you see that when the shoulder is lifted up this way, your breast is both balanced and flattened upon the chest wall. And I have the advantage of examining a relatively thin, even layer of tissue. This makes it easier for me to find any small tumor or irregularity in the breast tissue. Now please raise your arm above your head. It will help me in the palpation of the inner half of your breast, for that is where I begin my examination. I feel gently with the flat of my fingers, beginning here above, just below your collarbone, and feeling the breast tissue of the inner half of the breast. My touch must be gentle because the sensitivity of my fingers, upon which I must depend, is best when I press only very lightly. My examination must be thorough, including all of the breast tissue, from the nipple line here, over to the breastbone, to which the breast reaches as a thin layer, and downwards to the lower edge of the breast. Down here at the lower edge of your breast, there is a ridge, which is a normal anatomical part of your breast. You must not be alarmed about it when you feel it yourself. The breast tissue here is somewhat denser than elsewhere and normally forms a ridge. Now will you bring your arm down to your side? In the examination of the outer half of the breast, it is helpful to have it there. Now you see I continue feeling as gently as possible the entire extent of the breast tissue, which here at your side reaches out to this line. I finally reach the outer part of the breast. This part is the thickest sector of the breast, and the one in which irregularities and tumors are most frequent, and we pay special attention to this area. I'm glad to say, Mrs. Wright, that I feel nothing abnormal at all in your breast. Now let me show you, Mrs. Wright, how you would examine this breast yourself. You would, of course, be lying down as you are now. Put your left arm above your head. Then with your right hand, examine the inner half of your left breast, just as I did, using the flat of your fingers and feeling gently and thoroughly. Do you feel any lumps?
No, I don't.
No. Having finished with the inner half of your breast, put your arm down at your side and then continue with your examination until you reach the outer part of the breast.
But, Doctor, could I myself feel a small cancer early enough?
I'm sure you could if you examined yourself as I have taught you to do. I know this from my own experience, for I have had a good many patients who quite accidentally found in their own breasts cancers which were only about this size. I myself, in the course of my examinations, have found such small early cancers. The average cancer of the breast, when the patient discovers it, is about as large as this. It probably takes from 6 to 12 months for a cancer to grow from this small size, at which careful examination could detect it, to this much larger size, at which women usually discover it accidentally.
How often should I examine my breast, Dr. Johnson?
I have found from experience that a reasonable plan is for a woman to examine her breasts once, and once only, each month. She should do it at the end of her menstrual period. Just before and during menstruation, the breasts in many women are swollen and tender. An examination is inconvenient. But please, Mrs. Wright, preserve some common sense about the whole matter. Don't think too much about it, because thinking too much about cancer isn't healthy for any of us.
Examine breasts. This is an important reminder for Mrs. Wright to carry out the examination of her breasts once a month at the end of her menstrual period. As her doctor suggested, she begins the examination by observing each breast for change in contour or any skin changes, such as dimpling or puckering. In addition to the immediate reassurance she gets from this examination, she's developing a routine monthly health habit. Because breast cancer becomes increasingly more frequent in the middle years, and especially so in older age, this is one health habit she will continue for life. Remembering her doctor's advice, she places a towel under her shoulder so that her breast is flattened evenly over the chest, and she methodically begins her examination. As a result of this routine, her sense of touch has become accustomed to the normal structure of her breasts. If she should ever feel anything abnormal, she would immediately see her doctor. Most often, such an abnormality would prove to be harmless, but if it ever should prove to be cancer, it would have been found in its early stage, when the opportunity for cure is excellent. Having completed examination of the inner half of her breast, she now proceeds with the outer half, gently and methodically feeling the breast tissue with the flat of her fingers. To be certain of including the entire breast, she follows a definite pattern, beginning at the nipple and moving slowly and gently to the outer area of the breast. Every woman is faced with the problem of breast cancer, but every woman can meet this problem intelligently by following this plan of breast self-examination once a month. Remember, when breast cancer is discovered early, it can be cured. Here truly is a habit for health with an immediate reward. Peace of mind. Make it a habit for life.